Hey guys, my name is Austin Reed, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to make a store chatbot that actually sounds like a human. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, I know a lot of you guys have probably had this experience where you've gone onto a website to do some shopping and you went ahead and messaged a chatbot because something went wrong, and it kind of just took you in circles and it never actually solved your problem. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that just irritates the heck out of me and it makes me not want to be your customer. So to combat this problem, today I'm going to give you guys a high-level overview of exactly how you would make a chatbot that would put those other ones to shame and actually solve your customers' problems. Now, as I mentioned, this is a high-level overview video. That being said, if you guys would like to see how I would build a chatbot live on video and build one with me, I will have some videos coming out soon that will cover just that, so be sure to stay tuned. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to start off about talking a little bit about the different types of chatbots and why some of the ones online that you see are so bad. So believe it or not, a lot of the online support chats are actually hard-coded and they're not using AI at all. You can easily spot these types of chatbots when they give you predefined options to click on as you open the support chat. Now, you can imagine a web diagram where the user will pick a predefined topic and it will branch out to give predefined responses that were already programmed in before the user even decided to interact with the chat. I don't know about you, but for me, when I see one of these chatbots, I find it to just be lazy customer service and it hardly ever really solves my problem. I will just start to randomly click buttons to try to get through the entire chat so I can eventually talk to a human. And if there's no human available, eventually I'll just leave and I won't be a customer anymore. Which brings me to the next type of chatbot, which is the semi-AI chatbots. Now, these chatbots, you can think of something like Amazon. They're slightly helpful. Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't. Some of these chatbots will also start with predefined topics and then kind of branch out. Maybe they'll let you respond to the AI, but the AI kind of operates within this box where it can only respond intelligently about very few topics. And then once it can no longer respond, it'll just send you to a live human. Now, although these chatbots are more helpful than the predefined chatbots that we talked about before, and they do decrease customer service time, there are better options, which brings me to the final option, which is a full AI chatbot. These are chatbots that can intelligently answer your customers' questions, and then if they can't, it will send them to a live agent. That live agent will then solve the customer's problems, and with those problems being solved, the AI will actually get more intelligent and in the future would be able to then solve that problem that got passed to a live human, therefore giving you an exponential decrease of your customer service time because your AI is getting indefinitely smarter as time goes on. So now that you understand the different types of chatbots, let's go ahead and talk about what you need to be able to build one of these. So the first and most important thing is having very clean data to use to train the AI. The more data you have, the cleaner it is, the more the data you're feeding actually help the customers that you want to talk to, the better the chatbot will be. So that means that if you hired a bunch of off-sea customer service reps that didn't really help, and then you pull all those chats into an AI and use it to train the AI, then the AI will respond just like those agents overseas that you hired, and they won't really help your clients. Which is why it's a really good idea to go through all the data that you're going to feed the AI and remove any cases where the customer had difficulty getting help or the customer didn't get helped at all. You also want to remove any cases where your customer service reps are not speaking very good proper English, because you don't want your AI to respond like a customer service rep that doesn't know how to speak good English. If your company has resources on how to solve all these different types of problems, you can actually send all those resources combined with customer service transcripts that your customers have already made into the AI in order to be able to train it. And that, in the ideal world, would be the best solution. Then, as the AI solves problems, the ones that it cannot solve, it will pass on to a live agent, And that conversation, if it was successful, will be passed back to the AI to further train it so it becomes more intelligent over time. So now let's talk about how we would set one of these up. Now, of course, we can use a plethora of different types of AI models. Ideally, we would want to use something like OpenAI or Claude or Google's Gemini or perhaps Olama or Mixtral. There's a lot of different AI models out there. Most of them are good enough to serve the purposes that you need. It's less about the language model that you would like to use and a little bit more about the data you're actually feeding it. I personally would recommend either ChatGPT, Claude, or Google Gemini. Now, the reason why I picked those ones is because they're very easy to set up and they speak really, really good English. In fact, I believe that Claude speaks the better English of the three. That being said, they all speak just good enough English to be one of your customer service reps. All right, now what you need is something called a vector database. Vector database, you can imagine, is like a sort of memory that the AI can use to be able to draw from and search through in order to answer the inquiries from the customers coming in. Now, if you think that this is starting to sound a little bit complicated and you would just like to hire somebody to get this done for you, this is something that we're experts at and we would love to help you out. So if you need help, go ahead and click on the link down below. This essentially is going to be where you guys will be saving all of the data that we just talked about previously. Now, there are services like Pinecone or Supabase that you can use for this, where you can upload documents and customer service transcripts that the AI can then use to go ahead and search for in order to find the correct answer to answer your customers. Now, the cool thing is both of these services do have a free plan in order to start out, and they scale up based on how much data and how many calls you're doing to the database. That being said, they are both very reasonably affordable. After you have your vector database set up, the next thing you need to do is set up some sort of context memory for the AI. Now, this is basically saying that the AI will remember the chat history between you and the customer. So if the customer has 10 or 15 chats, the AI actually doesn't forget things that it's already said previously in the chat. Now, depending on the chat service you're actually using in order to train the AI, it might already have the context already in there. Later in future videos, I will show you guys how to use N8N to build one of these chatbots, and we will hook up the context memory to a Postgres and the vector database to a Pinecone server so that you guys can see exactly how they would work together. Then it's time to test out the AI. So go ahead and give it some test customer service inquiries and just see how it responds to you. If it's not responding well, then you need to update the training data in the vector database. Once you're done testing and you're ready to deploy, there is one more thing that you need to do, which is you need to hook up an automation to where if the chat gets passed to a live agent and the live agent successfully helps the customer, then that transcript needs to be passed over to the vector database. Now, you can do that using some API calls depending on which chat service you're using, or maybe a webhook. You can use services like Make or N8N to create those automations, or you can code them directly in Python to where every time that gets done, it's successfully sent to the AI's memory and the AI gets indefinitely smarter as time goes on. Now, as I mentioned previously, I will be doing some videos here in the near future where I build chatbots live with you on video. So if you want to see how that gets done, please be sure to stay tuned. I really hope that this video helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.